What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Civilization 5 Deity Old World AI only battle. We are back to the main battle. It's going to get weird, it's going to get confusing, keep transferring between them. We're back to the main one, which we did a results episode on 2 days ago. And I don't know how long these videos will be. They might be getting a bit shorter than usual. I do apologise, but hopefully it shouldn't be too long until there'll be some more content with other things. And this will obviously... So people seem to be enjoying this, so we'll obviously keep going until as far as we can. But it does mean some of the videos will just be a bit short, because it's taken me all day to process this. So, yeah, I don't know how long the next 50 turns will take, hopefully a similar length of time. But we're at turn 301, one more than we needed to go, but there you go. So yeah, we've gone 50 turns into the future. A fair bit has happened. This game, I don't know why it's such a crazy parallel to the alternate game, where there seems to be so much interesting stuff going on. This one, a little bit more slower paced, for whatever reason. But first of all, we'll start in North America, because it's probably easier. The Jar continue to sort of settle everywhere. That has continued. But I don't think anyone's really conquered anything. Siam and Korea are at war. You'll see Siam's still been kicked out by Korea in these three cities. But for the most part, the rest of it stayed the same. Siam, I wouldn't say they're worse off than like Korea. It's just that the borders, Siam can't really reinforce this stuff. So Korea's just been able to keep producing units and conquer it. It's not so much that Siam is dead. You know, the rest of Siam, I think, is exactly the same. But just a little heads up there. The Jar and the Netherlands are pretty much filled out here, and they now have a pretty big and important border for this game. You see some wars breaking out against the Songhai. I don't think those are either of them border the Songhai. Britain, Nigeria got a couple more cities. I don't know if these were here at the end. I think that one was, but I don't know if this might be new. But yeah, a couple more cities just rocking up. Congo still here. Britain just added this, obviously one population, but mostly the same. I think most of this is the same. Songhai still have a city here. Rhodesia took the Panama Canal off them. Carthage grabbed this at some point off Portugal, and Portugal have, as you can see anyway, have died to the Netherlands. And hang on a minute, Rostock. I've been keeping a close eye on it. I mean, that city's got no name, so I mean, I guess the Netherlands have just run out of names for cities, but moving on from that point, Rostock. Is that a Dutch city? I don't know. Or did Russia and the Netherlands actually fight? Because that is a Russian name of a city, right? Rostock is a place in Russia. Oh no, that's Rostov. I'm pretty sure Rostock, it's got a very Russian vibe to it. Maybe it's Dutch as well, but there you go. Never know, do you? I don't know. But it is there, so... And it wasn't there for much of the game. I don't think it was ever a Portuguese city. It must be fairly new. Because it's Songhai, another final city here. It looks like Carthage is sieging it out. I don't know if they're still at war with Rhodesia. It looks like maybe that one's a bit peaceful now. We'll do South America. Egypt's still the same. Another city here in the Galapagos Islands. Rhodesia looking pretty good in South America, as you can see. I have a feeling Russia will not be doing as well as they were. Like, they will have fallen off. I'm going to be honest. I know there's people hopeful for Russia. They have done one thing, and it looks like that has actually been, I don't think reversed. I think just some citadels have gone down, so you can't see it on the mini-map. But I think something might have happened there. But never mind. Nigeria's still here. Come across to Africa. Rhodesia and Nigeria did clean up the Songhai mostly. You got Rhodesia taking tons here. There's a little bit left of Songhai again there. But yeah, Rhodesia gaining quite a lot. Nigeria gained a lot of cities too along here and settled some new ones too. Carthage, that never really led to anything, so Carthage is still alive, pretty much the same as when we left off. Egypt is the same. I think they might have settled this city. That might be new. I don't know if that was there before, or maybe it had just been settled, but yeah, that's about that. They have put down some citadels, and I think they just declared war. There was a time of peace. It's back to war again by the look of it between Egypt and Burundi, who are still here. Rhodesia's still here. Ethiopia is clinging on in their final city, which, yeah, this is it for them. India came and took them out pretty quickly, actually. It happened in like 3 turns, which was surprising, at least in the Horn of Africa. But yeah, India's doing pretty well. They also drove back Byzantium quite far, and then Greece and Germany teamed up to eliminate them. Although I'm not sure who's at war with who in all of this, because Germany took Constantinople, and then they lost it, and then Greece got it off Byzantium. This city here, Nicaea, Russia had that earlier, so I don't know how Greece has it now. Maybe someone, I don't know who, it must be someone who's at war with Russia. I don't know if Greece is at war with Russia. That would be pretty bold. As you can see here, a bit of a unit divide. Germany is stacked with units. Russia is more spread out and a lot more Air Force dependent. But again, I will have a look at the military manpower and some of the key statistics. We won't go as in depth, but we'll have a look at some of the key ones in a second. Netherlands also, I mean, we looked over them already, but they're looking a bit better now with a lot of units. But certainly, I think if them and Germany go to war, it will break the game. So that's a fun prospect for me to look forward to. Britain's still here, not doing too much, but they're still there. But yeah, here's Russia. They still have plenty of stuff. No giant death robots. I think that is the only unit I can't see, and I don't know if there's any stealth bombers. I mean, I haven't clicked everyone's planes. Stealth bombers and giant death robot. Oh no, there's some stealth bombers. Giant death robots, very rare that you see them get built. I don't think anyone's got any. If you've spotted one, good job. But yeah, I think every other type of unit's been built. There is XCOM squads now. Persia's still here. No one's gone after them yet. I thought Russia might have done. India might do actually in the future now as well. Siam, as I mentioned, still here, despite what happened with Korea in the north. The Jar's still pretty much the same as well, apart from their new colonies, so not as much going down out here. There's plenty of stuff. There's just units everywhere. It's crazy. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's any giant death robots. India still controls the majority of Australia. There's a little bit of Britain and the Dutch. New Zealand is split between India. Even these cities are massive at this point. 20 populous city in Australia. Like, think about how late that was settled and how useful that is, and probably why Russia didn't win. The lack of colonial opportunities. I mean, you look at, I imagine the Netherlands might be ahead of Russia at this point if they're all sort of similar technology, which I might be wrong, but I think that, yeah, the Netherlands might be a bit further behind, but there you go. Right, I'm going to open the info addicts. Hold your breaths. It should hopefully not crash. There we go. I think it's, oh no, it's crashed. There you go. Well, I'll give it another go in a second, but I think I'll just make sure this does actually crash. But yeah, I'll come back in a second and see if I can get it to work again. Okay, I'm back in. Now, don't want to jinx it. It should work this time. It did just work before I pressed record, so hopefully, there we go. Don't know why it breaks sometimes. It just does, I guess, if there's too much going on. But let's have a look at some of the bigger statistics. We won't look into everything. We'll look at some of the cool developments. First up, population. We still seem to have this big top 5. The Jar still leading the way. Rhodesia. India, all with, close to 100 or 100 plus million. The Netherlands getting up there. Russia just down there, 84 million. Then there's a huge drop-off. I'm guessing just by the look at the rest of the drop-off, that probably more than half the population lives in these top 5 nations, right? That's probably quite a fair estimate. I mean, we're already down to the tens of millions here, and there's only 18 civs left. So yeah, I would say actually more than half probably live in the top 5 nations. Crop yield, Rhodesia, which is obviously sort of another proxy for land, and I guess better land. Rhodesia, India, there's Jar, Netherlands, Russia again down in 5th place. I think they would score a lot worse overall if the results were now than when they did it. I think they actually benefited from it coming early, which was the plan, because I was a bit worried that they would lose their science advantages, but it turns out they were just struggling anyway. And they still don't seem too interested in attacking people. I think it's because they've gone a bit too nuke heavy, and the AI is very reluctant to use nukes first. You'll only ever see it as like a defense mechanism normally from a smaller AI that happens to have them as well, being attacked by a bigger one, and then it triggers a nuclear war. The bigger aggressor is very rare to use them actually. Germany's up there, Nigeria again. Again, Nigeria probably the biggest loser of when we did do the results. I imagine they might fare a little better now. The Songhai's gone, for example. And yeah, they've probably just made up some more ground on some of those other civs that did squeeze into that list. Egypt, for example. Production, pretty big one. Rhodesia now leads. I think it was the Jar when we ended the last one. The Netherlands and India also above Russia. So it's not looking so great for Russia. Egypt, Germany up there again. Nigeria. GMP, I think we're going to use in the future as a better reference for golds, because they're all losing money at this point. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, we'll probably use this in the future, but it's too late now. But in the future, it wouldn't have made a massive difference. I don't think, because they were 1, 2, and 3 at the time. They're not anymore. But Rhodesia, India, Jar, Netherlands, again Russia's slipping down to 5th. They were so strong, they look so good, and now they're just clinging on to, you could probably make an argument they're not even in a top 5. Now it depends what the rest of the stats look like, but there's an argument to be made. Land area, India is now the biggest, and I mean that is understandable. They have a huge area in California. They have half of Australia, which in itself is, obviously this map doesn't reflect it, but I think Australia is like the same size as the US, almost. I mean, this map certainly doesn't reflect that, but that is massive. They have a lot of Indonesian islands. They have a huge chunk of East Africa now. They have loads of islands. They have so much sea tiles. They have the whole Arabian Peninsula and up into the Middle East, and obviously they have India as well. So they are massive. So that makes sense. Rhodesia's huge as well, with big parts of Southern and West Africa and South America. The Jar's still huge, big swaths of Asia, Southern Japan, and the ocean in general. And I mean, half the half North America as well, sort of most of Western North America. The Netherlands also up there, of course, with most of Western Europe, apart from Germany and the British Isles, and they also have the whole East Coast and down towards the middle of the US. Then it's Russia, a long way behind some of these other countries. Siam, Nigeria, still a million off them, but you can see Russia is almost closer to some of these guys in a lot of these candidate statistics than the top four, which now includes the Netherlands. Military manpower, Rhodesia is first, just about a couple of units in it, although I say that is a massive number. Even though it's only like a 12,000 difference, which is a few units at this level. I mean, 1.68 million, 1.67 million. The Jar just behind, 1.5 million. The Netherlands, 1.3. Egypt actually above India, but India's been in a lot of wars, so that might be why. Maybe Egypt's just more aggressive, I don't know. But Germany only having 1 million is a bit surprising because their military looks huge, but it is more compacted. India is massive, as we just said. Germany's a lot smaller, so when you actually think about it that way, yeah, fair enough. You don't need to look at those. Social policies, I mean, it's not too interesting, but the Jar leading the way quite massively. Rhodesia, Russia, a big drop off here. Egypt, Songhai, Germany again. But more importantly, I think happiness, anyone in the negatives? Not at the moment. Everyone's just about clinging on. Some of them are pretty low, but technologies, Congo lagging behind, but everyone's 58 is pretty good. I mean, 60s, 70s, and then you have 4 civs at the top. That is the Jar, India, Rhodesia, Russia. And the bad news from this experiment is that you do not stay on top. So it must be in like reverse order of who gets there, maybe. That Russia should, because Russia was first to get to 80 and they're at the bottom. Which, like I said, is a big flaw in my info addict results system. Maybe if it's reverse order, I guess that is counteractable, I guess. But it's a small flaw, right? It's a lot better than all the comments saying I am doing it unfairly when I have a vote. There were some very angry people when I just let you guys vote in that series without info addicts before. It can't be perfect, okay? And it's better than me just picking them out of a hat at random based on my own opinion, which we know is probably not the best to judge it. Egypt pretty close, Nigeria and Germany not too far off. The Dutch a bit further behind for whatever reason. I'm guessing that's to do with the number of cities they have compared to some of these other civs, because the more cities you have, the harder it is. Net gold doesn't matter, but a few of them still making money. A whole 5 still generating income. I don't think it balances out. I'm guessing, Jesus, Rhodesia, minus 2,000 per turn. All that means is that all the units getting deleted because they can't afford them, they are just rebuilding in the same turn with production, which probably means they've also built every building possible, all that sort of stuff. Cities, India leads the way now with 40. This is definitely the most spread out world I think I've ever seen, because there's 3 civs with 30 plus here. Rhodesia and the Netherlands both have 37 cities. It doesn't look like that from the mini-map. I guess obviously if you count them all up it's right, but yeah, it doesn't look like 37. I don't know. I'm questioning that in my head. I swear there's not 37 dots in there, but whatever. The Jar have 34 apparently. Obviously there's a lot of islands that you don't actually see on the mini-map. Russia's 18. Quite a big drop off. Germany at 16. Again, did Germany really have 16 cities? I want to check it, but I don't want to crash the info addicts. I'll come back. Science, the Jar leading the way. India, Russia, the Netherlands up there, so you'd expect them to start catching up. Germany all the way down here for some reason. Egypt, Britain again. Culture output, Rhodesia, the Jar, India, Netherlands, Russia. I think Rhodesia would be doing a lot better because they are the only civ that's really improved out of the big 3 we had last time. Like Russia's fallen way off compared to the Jar and Rhodesia, but Rhodesia has actually conquered West, like most of the Songhai stuff. The Jar have not really done anything in that time either. Russia did have some fights with Byzantium at some point, but I don't know what's really going on there. Wonders, Russia still leads the way though. Rhodesia, India, the Jar, Netherlands, it's just that constant top 5. Treasury, not really important. I mean, Russia's got 63k, but it doesn't matter too much. Faith gain, still here. Russia leading. This isn't too important because I don't think any of these civs have their own religion, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but I don't think any of them are religion founders. We can have a look at religion separately in a sec. Influence, Jar, Rhodesia, 10. This doesn't matter too much. Only a few of them are actually influential. I don't know how on earth the Songhai is. I'm guessing that's over the Congo or something, who are small as well. Great works, 30 for Rhodesia, India, the Jar, Russia, Netherlands again. Nigeria look like they're probably in 6th place at the moment. They seem to show up a lot. I'd say Nigeria, and then I'd say Germany. But the only problem with Germany is they can't actually really do anything. They could fight Greece. That would be quite difficult, but they're friends with Greece, which I think is what's probably keeping them alive. Like, Germany and Greece are a team. I think Germany could probably beat the Dutch, you never know, just off the luck they've had before. But, you know, yeah, they seem to be a team, so that's probably keeping them alive for now. And finally, tourism. Rhodesia is the leader, then Russia, India, the Shah, and again the Netherlands. So it's kind of those 5 just dominating. But yeah, that is this. I will come back at turn 400 in 2 days' time. Tomorrow it will be turn 300 of the alternate battle, I assume, although it's a weekend, so I don't know. I'll try and get there, but obviously it will, yeah, I should be able to get there. I don't know when, but I'll try and push it through 50 more turns. It takes like all day, guys, I'm sorry. Weekends are harder, okay? In the weekdays, I can't use my PC in the middle of the day anyway, so it's left here running instead of doing nothing, which is actually a good use of time. But the weekends, you know, I've just got to sit here and stare for like 6 hours or whatever that it takes. It's a little bit more annoying when I could be doing other things. So, hopefully, I should find a way. I'll probably just get up early in the morning, put it on so that it's done before like midday or whatever. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you're enjoying the progress. We will keep going. Hopefully we can whittle it down a little bit more till there's just a few less powers. There's 19 civs remaining. Hopefully we get it down maybe towards 10. It's a bold push. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to... Oh no, I was actually going to look at the religions quickly. I was going to say, the info addicts, I don't know how long they'll go on. They might not open at all next time, but, you know, it's good to have one more check. So Germany, do they really have 16 cities? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, fair enough. I trust them now. Religion overview. Quickly have a look. Which ones are the biggest? 2 major dominant religions, opposite ends of the map, and if you consider the New World was empty at the start, this makes more sense. Pretty much at the edges. Siam 82 with Buddhism out in Asia in the Far East, and then as far west as you could have gone at the start of the game, Lisbon and Portugal was obviously 78 for Catholicism. There's a mid-tier religion here from Islam in Arabia in the centre of the map, again makes a lot of sense. And then there's a few sort of really edge sort of religions, 3 from sort of in Africa that just didn't really take off. Probably because they were competing with each other, right? If one of these, let's say we got rid of Burundi and Ethiopia's religions, and maybe Ethiopia's came in Asia and Burundi's was in Europe, you might have got a better spread. But sadly, well, these were all competing with each other. And then Shinto was just stuck on Japan separately anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Siam was just going to be way too strong there. But yeah, like Ethiopia 10 with Eastern Orthodox, Judaism 19 from Burundi, Protestantism, Nigeria, just way too much competition, whereas Arabia and, well, obviously not Arabia for a while, but, you know, Islam had the Middle East all to itself, Portugal had Western Europe all to itself, and probably the New World, and that goes for Buddhism and Siam with the West Coast part of the New World as well. Yeah, and also Africa's just been a bit more divided. There's still 3 pretty big civs there in Egypt, Nigeria, Rhodesia, India are technically, you know, a big player in Africa now, with all of what was Ethiopia's territory. But that will be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.